Recently, I've had a big bump in the number of views and the number of subscribers to this channel. And so I've found, because of different things that are going on, because of this surge, that I need to do this video. Because in this video, I'm going to be able to kill multiple birds with one stone. And so here it goes. See, I get a lot of messages from fans and critics, as a matter of fact. The fans, they're uniformly lovely. They're just lovely messages, and I get them, Twitter DMs or emails or what have you, and they are just the nicest messages, and I really appreciate them. But, that's 99% of the messages I get are like that. There's always that 1%. And there was this one guy in that 1% who wrote, he was talking about the content that I'm making, right? And he was talking about the content, said that he loved it, all the rest of it, until he came to one video where I talked about Bitcoin. I think that Bitcoin is just bullshit, right? And it's in a bubble and blah, blah, it doesn't matter. But the point is that he said that he was disappointed in my opinion on Bitcoin. Disappointed, and he said, he referred to me that saying that he had discovered that I had at least 1 foot of clay. It was, he and I disagreed, right? But the fact that we disagreed, he interpreted as my failure. I was failing him by not agreeing with what he thought about Bitcoin, which it really bothered me at the time. I mean, I'm talking, it really fucking bothered me. And I've noticed that whenever something really bothers me, whenever I get a disproportionate emotional reaction from some event, the smart thing for me at least is to stop and think over and analyze the situation and understand why I'm so upset. Because often as not, that visceral reaction is really about something more profound, and it pays me to examine it. And I suggest you do the same whenever you have like a disproportionate emotional reaction to something, right? So anyway, in this particular case, I was really pissed off at this guy, right? I was really pissed off, but instead of answering him with some, some fuck you very much kind of message, right? I sort of ignored it and just ground on the issue and just chewed on it. Just chewed on it until I had a firm grip as to why I was so upset. And it took me a few days. But I'm glad I did the exercise because, well, you're going to see it in this video and you're going to understand where I'm thinking. Because you see, this guy expected me to pander to him. This guy was expecting me to give him an opinion that he agreed with. An opinion that he already had. He thought that Bitcoin was great. I think it's stupid. And for reasons I'm not going to get into. If you want to go see the video, it's right here. Now, he thought it was great, and he thought that I should be pandering to him. That I should be agreeing with him, saying the thing that he already believed. Now, this is a problem in our society because in our society at this point in time, we are constantly being pandered to in just about every situation that we encounter. In the capitalistic, or let me phrase that, in this corporatist environment that we are existing in, because it's really not a life, it's just an existence. We are constantly being pandered to, we are constantly being sold things to. Now, when you sell something to somebody, you want them to agree with you, or let me phrase it, you tell your customers things that they are going to like. And how is it that somebody might like something? Because they are interested in it, or they already think it, they already know it, they already believe it. So a great way to sell something to somebody else is to pander to them. Just to tell them things that they already agree with. And this is quite common in YouTube, because in YouTube, see, the audience is the customer. And the YouTuber is selling the customer entertainment, right? And entertainment is either, showing new things that are interesting, or just sort of repeating the same things that the audience already knows and thinks, right? That's why so many YouTubes are incredibly vacuous, or they tell you the same thing over and over again, something that you might agree with, but it's just a repetitive broken record kind of situation, right? Now, insofar as the vacuous content, think of people like Casey Neistat and his various clones. I mean, there are a whole bunch of them, right? That Casey Neistat school is just like a lot of bells and whistles and lights and drone shots and all the rest of it. And like this, this quote unquote cool vibe, cool host. But, there's nothing there. It's totally empty of anything profound or interesting or thoughtful. It's just cool images that, your eye can latch onto for, 5, 10, 15 minutes. And at the end of it, if I ask you, what was told to you, what did you learn from the video, your answer is going to be absolutely nothing. Because there wasn't anything there. It was empty. It was chewing gum. Zero nutritional value. It just made you chew through those, 10, 15 minutes of the video, right? Yeah. Then there are those commentary videos, and there are a plethora of them, that pander to their audience by telling them things that they already know, that they already believe in, and that they already think, okay? SJWs are bad. Ooh, SJWs are poopy heads. Down with the SJWs and the feminists. They're all evil people and stupid people, and we should just laugh and shitpost and blah, blah, blah. And it's the same goddamn thing over and over again, right? It's the same goddamn message over and over and over again. SJWs are poopy heads. Feminists are mean. Big fucking deal. And on the left, there's pretty much the same thing. Because on the left, you have, Trump is evil, Nazi, Trump is bad, Republicans bad, they're all alt-right neo-Nazis, and they want to kill minority babies and shit like that, They're all pandering because they're telling the audience the same thing. Right? Right. Now, what happens in this situation is, of course, that the YouTuber is terrified of saying things that will go against the biases of their audience. That's what they're most terrified of, going against the grain of their audience. Because they figure that if they go against the grain of their audience, they are going to lose a portion of their audience. And they're right, they will, okay? When a YouTuber says something that is not on the list of approved bullet points of their particular audience, that audience is going to unsubscribe. That audience is going to stop watching them. And because of that, that YouTuber is going to get less ad revenue, less eyeballs on his videos. The Google algorithm will start to penalize him because of it. Because whenever a YouTuber loses a substantial chunk of their audience, the YouTube algorithm doesn't like that, okay? The YouTube algorithm penalizes people who, have a dip in their subscriber base. If a YouTuber loses anywhere between, roughly half a percentage point and 3% of their subscriber base in a 72-hour period, the YouTube algorithm is going to stop showing those videos or that channel to potentially new subscribers. That channel is going to start to circle the drain. YouTubers are aware of this, especially YouTubers who start to have a non-trivial number of subscribers. Anybody who has over 5,000, 10,000 subscribers is very aware of what's going on with YouTube, okay? So because of all this that I've explained to you, YouTubers pander to their audience in ways grotesque and subtle, okay? Grotesque ways are that, for instance, they might very well think something that they will never say on camera to their audience, okay? A good example of this is that, I've talked to a number of YouTube commentators, and they agree with me that Trump is kind of like a fool, They think that privately, but they would never say that. I said that on my channel, and I lost some subscribers, right? Because it's not that I think that he's a complete fool. I think that he's not this genius that a lot of his diehard fans paint him out to be, right? I said this. I got a hit on my subscriber base. YouTube algorithm didn't like it very much, and the YouTube algorithm wasn't serving up my content to my potential viewers because of it, see? So YouTubers are constantly pandering to the biases of their audience, and they're very careful to never cross those biases, at least not the big ones. Maybe in the little ones, and maybe even as a goof or a joke, they'll say something that is not what the audience is expecting, if only to keep their audience on their toes. But on the big issues, if they truly and honestly disagree with their audience, they'll keep their mouth shut. They won't mention it. Because they don't want to hurt their audience. They don't want to hurt their channel. Right? But see, my situation is different because I'm not here to pander to the biases of my audience. I'm thrilled to have an audience, but I don't really need it. I don't really need an audience. Because the reason why I'm doing this YouTube channel is not because I'm aiming for a large audience. My motivation is completely different. See, I'm 50 years old. I'm 15 years old and I have 2 toddlers, a daughter who's 5 and a son who's 3. Now, the fact is that because I was a late father, an older father, by the time my son is 33, I'll be 80. If I'm not dead, I'm just going to be a blubbering old fool, right? I'll be wheelchair bound at the nursing home in 30 years. And my kid is going to need me and my experience then. But at that time, in 30 years' time, I'm not going to have the wherewithal to be able to tell him or to help him. You see? And so last year, some things happened in my life that allowed me to have just a lot of free time on my hands for the next 2-3 years, roughly. And so because of that, I decided that it would be a smart move to start making YouTube videos. Because I became very intrigued by the format, and I became very interested in doing them because it seems fun. And also I come from filmmaking, and so the idea of doing these like mini movies was just very appealing to me, right? And so I realized that it would be smart to be doing videos for my kid when he's older, okay? Not so much for my daughter, because, my daughter has her mother, okay? And daughters don't need that much advice from fathers, but sons do, especially in this day and age. And so I figured I'd be doing these videos so that my kid in 30 years' time, in 40 years' time, he'll be able to look at them and watch them, and maybe the things I say now will help him then in the future, in 30, 40 years' time. You see? So that's my motivation. I mean, I'm so happy that I have you watching this. I'm so happy that I have, at this time, I have like 40,000 subscribers, which is huge. That's a lot of people. 40,000 people decided that my content was worth watching. That's amazing, right? I'm thrilled. But the fact of the matter is that if I have 1 million subscribers, that'll be great. And if I have 1 subscriber, that'll be great too. Because I don't need it. The purpose of my channel is not to have subscribers and views. It's for me to speak my mind and say the things that I truly believe. You see? Now, you might ask, why am I doing YouTube videos? Why do I have a channel? Oh, the answer is very, very simple. You see, I try to do videos on my own, just for me, or let me phrase that, for my kid when he's older. I tried, and what happened was that I couldn't motivate to do it. I'd start doing one video and it would sort of like peter out, it never finished, right? And then I'd start another one, and then I'd write the script of one and then the other, and I never finished any of them because I didn't have a reason to finish them. I didn't have somebody expecting them. Right? But when I set myself the mental goal of having content every day at noon Eastern for my audience on my channel, it motivated me. It got me to finish the goddamn videos, right? Like for instance, this video that I'm doing right now, I'm filming it on Sunday, my Sunday. I'm in Ukraine, and it's Ukraine is what, 7 hours ahead of Eastern Standard. And I just finished lunch, and I came here to my studio to do this video, right? And get it done and get it up and loaded before dinner time, right? I don't need to do it. If I deliver the video or not, it's not really gonna matter. But my audience is expecting me to, and because of it, it creates the obligation and makes me do this video that I really wanna do, and I know that my kid is going to watch later on, okay? And so that's why I'm doing it. Because I know the obligation of the audience expectation gives me the motivation to do these videos, to finish them. Before I started my channel, I'd done, I would guess like roughly 20 false starts. Maybe not so many, maybe it was like 16 or 18, something around that, false starts. I mean, videos that had sort of like started and just never finished, right? But once I started doing my channel, well, now I have over 200 videos. And it's because of that audience expectation, the obligation, So anyway, that's why I'm doing my videos. Now, the thing is, see, in my channel doesn't pander to an audience. On the contrary, I say what I think. And here's the thing about my channel and my content, and why my channel and my content will probably matter. Because see, the most valuable videos that I make are the ones that you disagree with. Absolutely. Because I say a lot of things, and everything that I say is fairly thought out. I don't say things casually. I don't just, blue sky and bullshit my way through my videos. I usually have notes, like in this video, I have my notes right here. I have my notes, I have my thoughts, I've semi-prepared the videos. I improvise the delivery, but the basic bullet points, I have them ready before I start filming, right? Right. So the thing is, see, when you disagree with me, I'm not just saying bullshit. So if you disagree with me, there are two possibilities. Possibility number one is that I'm wrong and you're right. And therefore, you have to figure out where I made a mistake. Why am I wrong and you're right? Because if I'm wrong, by my being wrong, you'll figure out why you are right. By my being wrong and you being right, and you figuring out where I made the mistake, you'll learn something from it. You see what I mean? Because you're going to be assuming that what I'm saying is not totally half-assed and bullshitty, right? So if I say something and you disagree and you examine it and you realize that you're right and I'm wrong, you'll be able to figure out where I went wrong. And that'll make it valuable, a valuable video. And if I'm right and you're wrong, you'll examine what I think, examine what you think, and you'll realize where you made the mistake. Where you made the mistake, and because you figured out where you made the mistake, you won't make that mistake in the future. You'll grow, you'll learn. Either way, if I'm right or if I'm wrong, you'll always be learning. That's why the videos where you disagree with me are so important, the most important videos here. See? The ones that you agree with me, great, you agree with me. Who gives a shit? Okay? See, if you agree with me, if I'm inadvertently pandering to you, that doesn't really help you, now does it? It was a pleasant, few moments that you spent watching my videos, but you didn't learn anything, you didn't grow. The important thing is to grow, to develop, to perfect yourself. However you see perfecting yourself means, okay? The important thing is to grow and develop and rub up against people whom you disagree with, including me. See? Because if you're agreeing with everything that somebody is saying, they're probably trying to sell you something. If you agree with everything that somebody is telling you, and you're just like nodding along, you're not going to grow now, are you? You're just going to be, a passive consumer of somebody else's opinion that you happen to agree with. And that does not help you. That does not make you a better person, a better man. And ultimately, because I'm making these videos for my kid, I want my kid, who will be watching these videos, to be better, to be a better man. And so you who are my audience, well, I guess I want the same for you, because that's my ultimate goal. And if I don't pander to you, what can I say?